Welcome back to the Cynthia Clark Book Club. We are reading our second book in the club. Yes, we finished our first book, which was The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. We're finished with that book. And now we're reading our second book, which is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. If you need a copy of the book, you can get it from my website. All you have to do is click on the image of The Science of Getting Rich, and it will load a free PDF file for you. And it's okay because the book is in public domain, so it's okay for us to get it for free. This is how the book club works. I am going to read chapter by chapter. Each chapter has its own video, and I'm going to give my opinion of what I'm reading while I'm reading it. If there is something in the chapter or in the book or in the video that you want to talk about, then we can have a conversation. What I'm going to do is, of course, I'm going to put the video in YouTube, and then I'm going to post it in a blog on my website, and then I will post it to my Facebook page. And so if you want to make a comment, you can. Otherwise, I'll just do what I like to do anyway, one of my favorite things, which is reading. To get to my website, the easiest thing for you to do is to just do a Google search. Just type in Cynthia Clark Book Club, and you'll see a lot of YouTube videos, but if you keep scrolling down, you'll see my actual website. Also, if you're watching this in YouTube and you go to the description section, I have a link to my website there as well. If you are a YouTuber, you have a YouTube account, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if your account is public, then I will subscribe to your YouTube station or channel as well. Also, if we are not Facebook friends, I would love to be your Facebook friend. So just send me a friend request. I accept all of my friend requests, and I rarely delete anyone because, unless they act crazy, but I don't really attract that kind of energy from folks, so I don't really delete folks. So if you send me a friend request, I will accept your friend request. And my Facebook website is in the description page as well. So anyway, I'm going to read. I'm just going to start in chapter 1. And this is my first time reading on a tablet. Usually I just read from the book. So I'm coming into the 21st century. So I'm reading from a tablet. I have the book in PDF format. And I'm reading through Kindle. First time doing it this way. I like it because I really need reading glasses. I'm usually straining when I'm reading. Oh snap, I don't see the book. I usually strain a little bit when I'm reading. But what I like about this deal is the fact that you can adjust the screen. You guys probably know all about this. So anyway, I'm new to it. So anyway, you can adjust the screen and make it make it bigger. And so I'm going to read from the tablet today. So we're going to go straight into chapter 1. It may be a little awkward for me this first time because this is my first time using the tablet to even read. I don't read my books from here. But I am today. Okay, so here we go. These chapters are really short. So what I'm going to do is, after I read the chapter, then I'll just give a summary of what I think about what I read or how it affects me. So one of the things I noticed about the chapters in this book, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, is that each chapter or each section in the chapter has a little bullet point or focal point that it wants you to focus on. So this first one says failure is impossible. So we're going to go ahead and start reading and see what he means by this. Okay, it says, this book is pragmatical, not philosophical, a practical manual, not a treatise upon theories. It is intended for the men and women whose most pressing need is for money, who wish to get rich first and philosophize afterwards. So in other words, this book is for people that want to get rich now and talk about it later. Now, I'm talking about it now because I'm reading the book, but that's what's up. And I, just so you know, when I read books, most books are say he and him, but I'm a she and a her, so I'll change it to the female principle sometimes just to make it resonate more with me. So anyway, let's keep going. It says, it is for those who want results and who are willing to take the conclusions of science as a basis for action without going into all the processes by which those conclusions were reached. It is expected that the reader will take the fundamental statements upon faith, just as he would take statements concerning a law of electrical action if they were promulgated by a Marconi or an Edison, and taking the statements upon faith that he will prove their truth by acting upon them without fear or hesitation. So he wants you to try out what he's saying and have faith that it'll work. It says, every man or woman who does this will certainly get rich, for the science herein applied is an exact science, and failure is impossible. Well, we're going to see, because I'm going to use these principles in this book and some other books that I'm reading. In writing this book, I have sacrificed all considerations to plainness and simplicity of style, so that all might understand. The plan of action laid down herein was deducted from the conclusions of philosophy. It has been thoroughly tested and bears the supreme test of practical experiment. It works. And just so you know, this book was written back in the 1920s, so the verbiage might be a little unique, but we'll be able to get the message. Oh, I love being able to adjust the page. I like power. So this is like powerful to me. So anyway, whatever may be said in praise of poverty, the fact remains that it is not possible to live a really complete or successful life unless one is rich. No one can rise to his highest possible height in talent or soul development unless he has plenty of money. For to unfold the soul and to develop talent, he must have many things to use, and he cannot have these things unless he has money to buy them with. When I read that, I know some people are thinking, well, you don't have to have money to use things. But I say this, I say that you do. And I know what people are thinking when they say you don't have to have money to get things. You know, you can, get it through other people and all the other stuff. But the fact of the matter is, that's a slower way sometimes. So if you have your own damn money, you can just go get it. You can just buy it. So anyway, let's keep going. A person develops in mind, soul, and body by making use of things, and society is so organized that we must have money in order to become the possessor of things. Therefore, the basis of all advancement must be the science of getting rich. The object of all life is development, and everything that lives has an inalienable right to all the development it is capable of attaining. A person's right to life means his right to have the free and unrestricted use of all the things which may be necessary to his fullest mental, spiritual, and physical unfoldment, or, in other words, his right to be rich. In this book, I shall not speak of riches in a figurative way. To be really rich does not mean to be satisfied or contented with a little. No one ought to be satisfied with a little if he is capable of using and enjoying more. No one ought to be satisfied with a little if she is capable of using and enjoying more. So when I read that, it makes me think, why settle for less than what you can use and enjoy? Why settle for less? Anyway, let's keep going. The purpose of nature is the advancement and unfoldment of life, and everyone should have all that can contribute to the power, elegance, beauty, and richness of life. To be content with less is sinful. You ever heard that? I don't think I've read that in any other books. To be content with less is sinful. Usually, especially in religion, it's just the opposite. When you have less, it's like they're saying that's a good thing. But what he's saying is to be content with less is a damn sin. Anyway, let's keep going. The person who owns all he wants for the living of all the life he is capable of living is rich. And no person who has not plenty of money can have all he wants. Let me read that again. The person who owns all he wants for the living of all the life he is capable of living is rich. And no person who has not plenty of money can have all he wants. Life has advanced so far and become so complex that even the most ordinary man or woman requires a great amount of wealth in order to live in a manner that even approaches completeness. So what he's saying is, in order to have a decent life nowadays, you need to be rich. Back to the book. Every person naturally wants to become all that they are capable of becoming. This desire to realize innate possibilities is inherent in human nature. We cannot help wanting to be all that we can be. Success in life is becoming what you want to be. You can become what you want. Oh, snap. Oh, shit. You can become what you want. Shit, hold on. Technical difficulties. You can become what you want to be only by making use of things. And you can have the free use of things only as you become rich enough to buy them. To understand the science of getting rich is therefore the most essential of all knowledge. There is nothing wrong in wanting to get rich. The desire for riches, okay. The desire for riches is really the desire for a richer, fuller, and more abundant life. And that desire is praiseworthy. So I say for myself not to allow anyone to tell me there's anything wrong with me desiring to be rich. For me not to be rich is to limit my self-expression in terms of the things that I want to do in life. I did not come to earth, I did not incarnate to not express my gifts. So anyway, let's keep going. The person who does not desire to live more abundantly is abnormal. And so the person who does not desire to have money enough to buy all he or she wants is abnormal. So a lot of people will tell you that a person that desires to be rich is something wrong with them, but this dude is saying that a person that doesn't desire to be rich, a person that doesn't desire to have enough money to do all the things they want to do in life, they're the ones that are abnormal. There's something wrong with them. Let's keep going. There are three motives for which we live. We live for the body, we live for the mind, and we live for the soul. No one of these is better or holier than the other. All are alike desirable. And no one of the three, body, mind, or soul, can live fully if either of the other is cut short of full life and expression. When I think about that, it makes me think about if a person is sick. So he says mind, body, and soul. So if someone's body is sick, then it keeps them from fully expressing maybe what's in their mind, because they are worried about their stomach ache, focusing more on the stomach ache than they are about maybe expressing their gifts. When you're sick, your mind goes to whatever is feeling bad. And so what this guy is saying is that all three need to be in check for you to have a full life and expression. Let's keep going. It is not right or noble to live only for the soul and deny mind or body. And it is wrong to live for the intellect and deny body and soul. They're all important. Okay. We are all acquainted with the loathsome consequence of living for the body and denying both mind and soul. So I guess maybe people that are only interested in the physical, and that's takes up most of their mind, just the physical, and not focusing on their focusing just on their body, as opposed to giving some energy to mind and soul. So he's basically saying they're imbalanced. He said, and we see that real life means the complete expression of all that a person can give forth through body, mind, and soul. Whatever he can say, no one can really be happy or satisfied unless his or her body is living fully in its every function, and unless the same is true of his mind and soul. You know what? If my body feels great, maybe I've been jogging, I've been eating right, and all this other stuff, but I'm vexed in my mind or my spirit, it's imbalanced, and it's just not a full expression. So I understand what he's saying. Let me go to this next sentence. Wherever there is unexpressed possibility or function not performed, there is unsatisfied desire. Desire is possibility seeking expression or function seeking performance. So whenever it's unexpressed, there's unsatisfied desire, which leads to depression and unhappiness. So if you're feeling depressed, it could possibly be due to the fact that there's something that you're not getting out. Maybe you're in situations all the time where you can't freaking think. It's always something bombarding you, and you can't think the way you want to think, or someone's always in your ear. Or if you're sick, then you can't maybe do some of the things that you want to do. So that could lead to, depression as well. And then, of course, if you're vexed in your soul or your spirit, like maybe you're doing something or working a job that you really, really, really don't want to do, and you're spending so much time doing that when you really want to do something else, you're vexed in spirit, then that's unsatisfied desires. It's like you want to express some things and you can't, and so depression can set in. Anyway, let's keep going. Oh, me and my technical difficulties. Okay. A person cannot live fully in body without good food, comfortable clothing, and warm shelter, and without freedom from excessive toil. Rest and recreation are also necessary to his physical life. One cannot live fully in mind without books and time to study them, without opportunity for travel and observation, or without intellectual companionship. That is so true, for me anyway, because I love my books, as you can tell, and I travel, but right now I haven't been traveling as much as I want to, which is one of the reasons, being rich is one of my goals. And it says without intellectual companionship. So companionship is important too. When I don't have the right companionship, it doesn't feel good. Anyway, let's keep going. To live fully in mind, a person must have intellectual recreations and must surround himself or herself with all the objects of art and beauty she is capable of using and appreciating. To live fully in soul, a person must have love, and love is denied fullest expression by poverty. What it's saying is that poverty can restrict, not totally cut off, but it can restrict your displaying love possibly the way you want to. Let's keep going. A person's highest happiness is found in the bestowal of benefits on those he or she loves. Love finds its most natural and spontaneous expression in giving. The individual who has nothing to give cannot feel his or her place as a spouse or parent, as a citizen, or as a human being. They can't fully feel it or express it. Anyway, it is in the use of material things that a person finds full life for his body, develops his mind, and unfolds his soul. It is therefore of supreme importance to each individual to be rich. It is perfectly right that you should desire to be rich. If you are a normal man or woman, you cannot help doing so. So if you are not, what this dude is saying is if you are not trying to be rich, then you are not normal. You are abnormal. It is perfectly right that you should give your best attention to the science of getting rich, for it is the noblest and most necessary of all studies. If you neglect this study, you are derelict in your duty to yourself, to God, and humanity. For you can render to God and humanity no greater service than to make the most of yourself. That's the end of chapter 1. I'm going to go back and read these little notes that it has off to the side. In this book, I shall not speak of riches in a figurative way. To be really rich does not mean to be satisfied or contented with a little. We live technical difficulties. I don't know what the hell I'm doing wrong. There we go. We live for the body, we live for the mind, we live for the soul. No one of these is better or holier than the other. I remember I was taking Bible classes. This is years ago. And it was a couple. No, well, it was two different classes. One couple. No. It was two ladies. And one lady was telling me, they asked me this. They said, Cynthia, would you rather, have money, or would you rather, have the best relationship with God that you can? And I told them both. And they were like, no, if you could only have one. And I'm like, but I can have both. And so when I read this, we live for the body, we live for the mind, we live for the soul. No one of these is better or holier than the other. It makes me think of that conversation with them, that they were trying to get me to think that I couldn't have both, that both weren't an option. And that's not cool. I don't like that. Anyway, keep going. It is perfectly right that you should desire to be rich. Some people desire to be rich, but they don't say anything about it because people will chastise them. And you know what? Some of them shouldn't, until you get to the point where you can say it and not give a freak about what someone thinks about what you desire to do in life and how you desire to do it. Then you should be quiet. But once you get to the point where you're cool with it, I think it's good to verbally express it, because once you think about it, that's powerful. When you verbalize it, that adds power to it as well. So he's saying in this book, it is perfectly right that you should desire to be rich. It's okay. I believe that is what blocks some people from getting rich, the thought that it's wrong to want to be rich. Let's keep going. That's it. That's chapter 2. I'm excited about reading this book because I am on a journey to becoming rich. I had a middle class mentality when I was working, when I first started working at the railroad, which was my first real job. And middle class mindset is not bad. But I think deep down I wanted to be rich or wealthy, and it's kind of hard to get there if you keep a middle class mentality. So after I decided that I wanted to go into business for myself, it's like I upgraded my mentality, and then I started taking the actions to go into business. And things happen, life happens, okay? And I had my daughter. And I realized that after I had my daughter, I became a stay-at-home mom. I realized at that point that I took on not a middle class mentality, but actually took on a lack mentality, a mentality of lack, because I wasn't making my own money. And so that did something to me mentally. And so now that I am separated, and my daughter, she lives with her dad, and I'm working on really building my brand and my business. Now I'm attracting different people. I have some friends on Facebook. Oh, one in particular, her name's Janya. She lives she has an amazing lifestyle. When I see her post things on Facebook, like she's going to New Orleans this weekend. She just came back from Italy, and she's a photographer, so she takes pictures and she posts them. But when I see her post things about her lifestyle, it is absolutely amazing. She has like the cleaning people coming in to clean the house, and I'm like that. I'm digging that. That's like the kind of lifestyle I want to have. Anyway, I'm on the journey to becoming rich, and so what's happening is people are coming into my space that exhibit the kind of lifestyle I want to live. Number one. Number two, men, one in particular, coming in my space that kind of exude the type of men that I want to have. And then these books that are coming into my space that are in alignment with what I'm doing. So I said about, I guess it was about 3 years ago, I got this, something dropped in my spirit saying, Cynthia, you need, when you become a millionaires, you need to write a book about how it transpired. And so I came up with a title for the book. And the title of the book was, or is, How Metaphysics Made Me a Millionaires. So I was like, okay, I'm going to write the book. And it's going to be easy to write because it's nothing but my life my life unfolding from the time that I said that's what I want. And yeah, and so, and then I'll have some more history before then, but pretty much I'm going to chronicle the journey. And so I started writing little things, and then one of my Facebook friends, one of my cyber senseis, that's a teacher in California, he's an herbalist, and this dude used the power of his mind, mental science, metaphysics, to create an absolutely wonderful life for him and his family. And he talks about his lifestyle and just the things that they do and all these businesses he's opening up, and it's exciting. And so anyway, he posted a video about ebooks, right? And so he was like talking about, you know, what you need to do an ebook. And then he posted a question. He said, if you were to do an ebook or write an ebook, what would the subject be? And questions are very, very powerful. So when he asked that question, I thought in my mind, well, I already know what the book is going to be. And I was like, you know what? Instead of me writing, this is what made me change it. Anyway, instead of me writing the book after I become a millionaire, what I'm going to do is chronicle it. So it'll be phases of my progression to becoming a millionaire. So I'll actually start before I physically manifest the money on this plane. And so instead of it being how metaphysics made me a millionaire, the book it's going to be a series of ebooks, and it's called Sense Metaphysical Journey to Millionaires. So I'm excited about reading this book by Wallace D. Wattles, which I've read before, but it's different. It's a different energy when I like reading to the camera. It's very therapeutic, and it just does something to me. But anyway, I'm excited about reading this book, The Science of Getting Rich, because it's a reminder. It's a reminder for me in terms of my journey, the things that I need to do on my journey to reach the goal of becoming a millionaire. So anyway, that's it. That's a really short chapter. If there's something that I read in the book that resonates with you and you want to talk about it, then you can just post a comment on Facebook or in YouTube, or you can go to my website and post there. And again, if you are on YouTube, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel, and I'll subscribe to yours if you have a public channel. And you can, if we're not Facebook friends, I'd love for you to become my Facebook friend. And I have a blog on my website now. I just started that, and so I got a couple of things out there that I put in the blog. I'm going to put this video in the blog as well, but just kind of watch for that. Oh, and then the last thing too, if you go to my website and you go to the store, which I'm updating, but if you go to the store section, I know some people, they don't like communicating online, like typing and back and forth. They don't like doing that, but they do love talking on the phone. And so what I've done is I've created a service for a small fee, whereby if you prefer to discuss the book or aspects of the book or any of the aspects of any of the videos or anything in the blogs that I have out there. If you want to discuss them on the phone, then we can do that. You may say, well, Cynthia, how do I know I want to talk to you? Well, you might not. So the first conversation or discussion is free. If you liked talking to me and you want to talk again on the phone, 30 minutes, it's just $5. And from there, it's a regular price, which is a very affordable. It's just I'm just trying some stuff out. Then after the second conversation, the third or any subsequent conversations will be $15 for 30 minutes and $25 an hour. So that's extremely affordable. And some people say, well, Cynthia, why are you charging? And it's because it's more time consuming to talk on the phone than just go back and forth on Facebook. See, at 3 o'clock in the morning, I could just type a response on Facebook. But talking on the phone is in my schedule. And I want to talk to people about these books and these concepts because it helps me too. But people's time is valuable, right? So plus there are more offerings that I want to do. There's some other things that I want to do, more offerings, more things I want to provide, and it just costs money. Bottom line, it is what it is. So anyway, go to my website, and if you want to chit chat on Facebook, and we can go from there. You guys have a good one.